Hi, I'm Dawn Stensland-Menti, and welcome to A New Dawn. Now, tonight's show, I just want to give you a quick heads up here. This is really for grown-ups only, adults only. So you want to get your children, young people out of the room because we're talking very frankly about intimacy and sex. The kind of sex written about in that steamy novel we've heard all about, 50 Shades of Grey, and you kind of have to be living under a rock if you haven't heard of 50 Shades of Grey. Women all over the world are so turned on by this so-called, soft porn, it's been called, erotica, and these are, considered mainstream moms, housewives, middle-aged women, women all over exploring new ways of having passionate intimacy. And just like in the book, and that includes a little bit of S&M. So I want you to forget, though, about 50 Shades, because my guest is a 27-year-old sexologist who teaches women how to achieve ecstasy every single time. She's also the author of Fighting the Crusade Against Sex. And we want to welcome Dr. Jill McDevitt. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So you have a PhD. I mean, this is very
no joke.
This is no joke. What is a sexologist?
Sexology is a scientific study of human sexual behavior. Some people do sex therapy. I take the really fun way of doing it, and I get to talk about orgasm and toys and masturbation and passion. I get to talk about the fun side of sex with women.
And so when you see the book, this is your book actually, Fighting the Crusade Against Sex, but when you looked at 50 Shades, what is it? You're not a fan of this book necessarily.
I'm not. And initially I was very excited about the premise because I thought, well, this is great because women are coming in, talking to me, they're very excited about it, they want to try the props from the book, and I'm thinking this is wonderful that everyday women are talking about sex in ways that they have not before. A new permission to kind of talk about it. I'm like, this is great, let me read it. And then I was like, oh. And I feel like it just does a very, very big disservice to BDSM or kinky or fetish type of sex because it really misrepresents it in some dangerous ways, in my opinion.
And I'm so glad that you feel that way because I felt that way too, that it's demeaning, not empowering of women. And when you talk about a crusade, you say what? I mean, this is a crusade because you feel like this is a right of people, that women should be empowered.
I think that sex should be fun and pleasure is good for you. And I have that hanging on my office wall on a plaque. I believe it very, very passionately, and I travel the country talking about it. So that's why I was initially very pleased that this is so great that women are having this conversation. I just wish that it was in positive, empowering ways for women.
And I think that so many women, and women who've been in relationships, long-term relationships, marriages for 16, 20, 25, 30 years, will look at this and say, well, S&M, but how could this make making love better and improve my marriage and my relationship and my intimacy? What's the relationship between that?
Well, I always believe that you're a sexual person first and you share it second. And so sometimes when you're sharing sexuality with somebody for such an extended period of time, you get into kind of trends, kind of ruts, if you will. And some of the props in the book introduce new ways of exploring not only the physical sensations that can be involved with spanking or being tied up, but also the power dynamics, the role playing, the letting go of who you are in a box every day and kind of being able to pick out different parts and explore them. So I think that's what that connection is, that's that piece.
And so you actually have some toys, some props that you brought along. Can you show me? This is some fun stuff. And
sure.
I mean, to me, this is like, oh, haha, giggle, prank. But to you, this is real stuff.
It is. They're metal handcuffs.
With fur.
With fur, which you can remove the fur. So with the fur on, it keeps them, just softer so they don't hurt. But you can use just the metal if you want to introduce some more pain components into the sexual experience. So you can tie one's wrists together, ankles or wrists to maybe bedposts, leaving someone more immobile, which gives the other person an opportunity to explore their body or do things to their body without them being able to react.
And is that healthy? Because I think some people think, oh no, what are you encouraging here? That's not healthy.
I think that's such a great question because consent at every step of the way is so, so important. And I think that's where the book went a little awry, is that there's not a whole lot of consent going on. And I'm not really sure that the main female character is really wanting all that's happening for her. So it is healthy so long as everybody knows what to expect, that they can stop, they use safe words to say, okay, I'm done with the play. I don't want to be tied up anymore, and that the other person will do that for them.
And what I'm hearing you most say is that you're encouraging couples to communicate about what they want. And whether it's furry handcuffs or that's way over the top for somebody watching right now going, oh no, but maybe it's, hey, this is what I want and this is what I need in a very primitive way.
I think overwhelmingly the women who have come talk to me about their response to this book has been that it's introduced them to the idea of wanting to try new things, but not necessarily this type of thing. They go, oh, maybe I want a toy, or maybe I just want to have different sex positions, or I just want to have more sex. But they're saying, I'm now interested in sexuality, not necessarily ropes. But just by reading that book, they thought, oh, well, maybe there's other things out there I don't know about, and I feel like I can talk to my partner. So it's definitely a communication piece, for sure.
And there are a lot of other things we want to talk about as our conversation with Dr. Jill continues. But when we return, a single mom of two who's been having that 50 Shades of Grey sex way before the book came out,